Hey everyone, this is James Pelton. Happy Monday to you. As you can see, I am over COVID or influenza, whatever it is I had for the last couple of weeks. I did a video on Friday and everybody was like, man, you look really sick. And I felt really sick, but I'm feeling pretty good now. I'm not 100%, but it's not contagious online. So thank you guys for being here today. We're going to talk about done for you Amazon stores. And we're going to talk about this is Jose. I've had a store going with him. We have an NFT collection that we've done as well with Jose. We'll talk a little bit about that. We might get Pocket Aces on here a little bit to talk about that. I want to see from you in the audience too if you want me to do another one of those NFT collections. So we'll talk all about that. I also want to talk about we've had some bad experiences with other done for you Amazon stores. So just kind of want to compare and contrast and see what Jose has seen from other companies, because there's a lot of companies out there that do things like this. But Jose, to me, is one of the good guys who's not out just to take your money, but he's out to actually, win-win scenario. So happy to talk about that. Audience, what I need from you guys, hit the like button as we're going here. Question of the day. What's the sickest that you've ever been? Let's get everybody a little depressed and getting them thinking back to times when they're sick. But what's the sickest you've ever been? The last couple of weeks, honestly, has been one of my worst, although it always seems like the worst while you're going through it. Then later you kind of forget how bad it was. But let me know in the comments, sickest. If you have any questions as we're going for Jose, he's the man in the know, so let him know. So let's go ahead and start with introductions. Jose, tell us a little bit about yourself as we get started here.
Yep. Thank you, James. How's everyone doing? My name's Jose. I do own Motive Automation. Our website's motiveautomation.com. And I've been running stores for about 6 years now. We run a Amazon done-for-you service. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen, ads and stuff like that on Instagram and Facebook with other providers providing the same experience, but most people probably didn't have the best experience going through them. But yeah, like I said, we manage over 250 stores. Again, been in it for 6 years. And we have our warehouse here in San Antonio, Texas, where I'm at. I encourage anyone that's interested in joining, or even a current client of mine, is to stop by one day, just come check out the operations, see how we do things. And just to show you guys, proof of concept that, we're doing the real thing. We do everything the right way, according to Amazon's terms of service, just to make sure we provide we're running a store for years to come, not just for a couple months.
Okay, awesome. Can you talk a little bit about the difference? I know some do drop selling, some, like you said, you have a warehouse. Can you kind of explain the difference and how different companies handle that?
Yeah, so we do a hybrid model, which is two-step drop shipping and a little bit of FBA. I'll talk about the two-step drop shipping. So traditionally, most companies out there, what they do is they sell on Amazon. So the order comes in on Amazon first. Now they have to fulfill it. So they're going to buy it from Walmart, Target, whatever supplier they're using, and they're going to ship it directly to the Amazon customer. And a couple years ago, that was working very well, but Amazon caught on, because the last thing Amazon wants is Amazon doesn't want their customers to buy something from Amazon and receive a Walmart box. That's a big no-no. So it may work at the beginning, but over time, Amazon will catch on and they will suspend your store. So what we do is we do two-step drop shipping. So it's very similar, but now we're the middleman. So basically, we still sell the item first, and then we'll buy it from our supplier. We'll ship it to the warehouse here in Texas. And then my team at the warehouse will basically repackage it to make sure that it's in a generic brown box, non-branded, or in a USPS bag, depending on the size of the item. And then we'll ship it back out to your actual Amazon customer. So doing it the right way, yes, it does eat into your profit margin a little bit, but there's no worries about suspension, just because, again, that's the correct way to do it. And then we also do some FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon. And a lot of us that shop on Amazon, you're buying these prime items, right? So we're doing the same thing with FBA. We have to buy upfront from our wholesale suppliers or distributors at a bulk discounted rate. And then we'll basically ship that pallet to our warehouse, and then we'll ship it to Amazon. But I would say about 80% of our orders, 85% of the orders on our client stores at the moment are still two-step drop shipping, just because it's a very lean business model. And again, we don't buy the inventory until we sold it first. That's the biggest thing.
Okay, very good. And then do you kind of have you seen saturation, or do you think this is going to continue to go? I know when people start on something like this, they're like, "Oh, it's Amazon's going to, shut this all down here in the next 3 months, and I'm going to be out a bunch of money." What do you kind of see as the future of these done for you Amazon stores?
Yeah, great question. In terms of saturation, stuff like that, not really, just because what people don't realize, I mean, there's hundreds of millions of products that we can choose from. And again, my team at the end of the day, when we do all the product research, um, you know, we don't, we'll sell anything and everything. We'll sell sporting good stuff. We'll sell fitness equipment. We'll sell household items. Over the years has changed. I would say for the last 18 months, we've been selling a lot of stuff in the sporting good categories, your typical Nike shoes, Under Armour, Adidas, Puma, stuff like that. But no, I don't see no saturation, just because again, the Amazon is not going anywhere. It's a number one marketplace, and all we're doing, we're just leveraging their traffic, their audience, and selling things at a slightly higher price that we can find it for. But yeah, in terms of saturation, not at all.
I like what you said earlier too. I think especially when these done for you stores started, a lot of people were doing them in a way that Amazon didn't necessarily want them to do. They were trying to find loopholes in Amazon. Oh, we could do this, and then Amazon would shut that down. But you guys have a different approach. You're trying to work with Amazon and a win-win-win situation so that there can't really go anything wrong. Would you agree with that?
Exactly. So a couple of years ago, along with everyone else, we were just doing the regular drop shipping, because again, it was a very drop shipping is allowed on Amazon, but again, you have to do it the right way. So it was a very gray area. And what happened a couple of years ago is Amazon caught on very quickly. And at the end of the day, the reason why Amazon does it too is it's all about revenue, right? Because if a customer receives a Target box, next time they may shop on Target, which is loss of revenue for Amazon. So what happens too, the way Amazon caught on is every time you confirm an order with the tracking number, Amazon has a bot that it's automatically checking these orders. And if they see that your tracking numbers on the first origin scan of that tracking is in different cities and different states, then that's a flag for them, telling them, okay, this guy is probably doing drop shipping. Like, we're going to suspend him, and let's have him prove to us that he's not drop shipping. So again, since we do two-step drop ship, we ship everything out of our warehouse. Every time we put a tracking number on the order itself, everything's being scanned here from San Antonio. So everything's coming from the same fulfillment center. And ever since we made that switch, I mean, it's pretty much, zero suspensions, because everything is done the way that Amazon wants you to do it.
Okay, love it. Yeah, and we've had some bad experiences with some other, I'll call them more scammy, done for you Amazon stores and done for you Facebook stores and things like that. So again, one of the reasons I bring Jose on, I get pitched a lot of done for you Amazon stores, but I've had good success with Jose myself. And he's an upstanding guy. So that's the reason that I'm bringing him here today. So we already have, I trust you all will discuss the yields. Yes. Let's talk about the yields. Then we'll talk about, what you need to get started. So how much, let's talk about my store, but also kind of in general, how much do you see that people are able to make from these done for you Amazon stores?
Yeah, great question. At the end of the day, it comes down to working capital, working credit. How much credit do you have available for the team to spend on a monthly basis? For a brand new store, for the first 3 to 4 months, you don't need much credit to start off with. I recommend 10 or 15,000 in working credit. And remember, guys, the team is not going to charge your card until we sold the item first. So that's the key thing to remember. And in terms of like profit margins, what to expect, anywhere between 10 and 30% is on average what our stores are making. Again, it will fluctuate month after month. Some months may be higher than others, but at the end of the day, as long as we're in that 10 to 30% profit margin range, that's ROI. That's really what we like to see. And our stores that are doing, as you see here, 12,000, 13, 5, and 10. Those stores are spending anywhere between, I would say, 40 to 60,000 in working credits. So again, at the end of the day, the more credit you have, the more aggressive my team can be, which typically means more sales and more profits. So, but just keep in mind, guys, you don't need all that up front. It takes time to get your store scaling to these type of areas you see, whether it's 6 months, 9 months, 4 months. It just really depends on your store. But control what you can control, which is your spending credit, your credit available. You control that. My team and I will basically take care of everything else for you guys.
What's like the minimum credit of it that you have available that you'd recommend for somebody? Like if somebody only has $100 available, that's probably not going to work for them, right? What would be kind of the minimum?
10,000 is the minimum.
Okay.
That's bare minimum. Just because I've had people, they're like, Jose, I want to pay for your service, but after I do that, I have 3,000 left. I'm like, it doesn't make sense for you and us because we cannot run a store with that low of credit, because you have to keep in mind Amazon pays you every 2 weeks. So something you spend today on February 12th, 2 weeks from now is when you'll see that money back from Amazon. So you have to be able to have enough credit to hold you over without having to get paid every day, which again, you get paid every 2 weeks. So that's where the credit really comes in.
Okay, very good. And then I also always want to remind people to not forget about the credit card points that you get from you guys buying inventory, because that's a revenue stream that sometimes people don't think about. And it also helps your credit going forward too. If you're taking out all this credit and paying it off consistently, that can actually improve your credit score over time as well. And I like too what you said, where you can kind of start smaller and work your way up over time too. So love that. Denver Bill says, can we use our Amazon Prime credit card?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, I believe that one has like a 3 to 5% cash back on Amazon or something like that. I do have a few clients that use that. So again, in terms of the credit card you want to use, that's really up to you, your personal preference. And what James mentioned earlier, I recommend using a credit card that offers some type of cash back, points, miles, because the amount of times you'll be using this card on a daily basis is just going to add up over time. The last 2-3 trips we've taken as a family, last couple of years, have all been paid with my Amex Platinum points, just because you rack them up so quick. It's literally just free money. But yeah, Amazon Prime is a good card. Amex is the number one option for a lot of people, just because they're very generous with their spending powers or limits they provide us. But Chase also has a good one, Citi. But if you guys ever have any suggestions or any y'all need some recommendations, let us know, and I can always point you to some that we see a lot of our clients are using.
Yep, absolutely. And then were you able to bring up, so I have a store with Motive Automation. Are you able to bring that up? Because, sometimes people see on the website and they're like, oh, great. Yeah, some unknown person made this amount of money. But are you able to bring up kind of my results?
Yeah, I can pull it up here. If I can share my screen, present.
Then we got some good questions in the audience. I'll bring those questions up here in a little bit. Let's see, we can add this here. There you go.
I'm gonna have to make it a little bit bigger here. Let me
look at that spreadsheet expert. Nice job.
So yeah, this is James' store. As you can see, July was kind of the first month that he was out of the seasoning phase, out of the buy box, or being able to win the buy box. So this is typically the point where stores really start to take off. Typically people ask me, how long, Jose, does it take to make money? It will take, with the onboarding process, you creating the store and seasoning it the right way, it can take a couple months. So July was the first month that James store was live. As you can see, every client will have their own spreadsheet available to them. They can view it any time. My team will normally update this either once or twice a month, because most of the tracking my team does is on a different software. So it's just a matter of them having to copy and paste that information to your spreadsheet. At the end of the day, most of the information on here it's more for the team's sake, nothing that our clients need to worry about. The biggest thing is just the profit. At the end of the day, how much did my store make profit-wise, net profit at the end of the month? So as you guys can see, the month of July did about 3,800. August was a little bit better, about 4,700. And as you guys can see, guys, some of these orders will be in a negative result. It could be a one of many reasons. Again, we don't worry about that as long as at the end of the month we're positive. That's all that matters. Um, September was about $6,500. October about $4,000. November 8,400. December about 9,000, and then last month January was his biggest month so far, 11.2. Then here towards the end of February, my team will add that's the tab for February, so James can go in here and check his result. But yeah, like I said, shows that Amazon order supplier. We use eBay a lot for our supplier. So we sold it for, this tells you how much we sold it for on Amazon, how much we paid for it. This is Amazon's fee. And if there's any other additional fees, my team will put it on here. Then at the end of the day, it'll basically show your net profit. So very simple, very easy to read. That again, you'll have access to once your store is actually up and running and selling.
Okay, and I'll say too that my store has been a little slower getting started than others because I don't respond very quickly. If you're focused on this, I'm doing so many different things that Jose's team pings me, and then Jose sometimes has to text me like, "Hey, we've been trying to ping you for the last week. Why haven't you answered?" I'm just not, I've got my too many irons in the fire. So I think you guys will have a better experience than I did. I've had a great experience, but I think if you're focused on this and this is like your thing that you're doing, you'll have even better results with this than I did for sure. So wanted to say that too. And it is a little bit of work to get started. You have to get, bank accounts set up and the store set up. And there's a little bit of work at the beginning. But again, if you're focused on it, I think you can get through that a lot quicker than I did. And hopefully Jose won't have to text everybody to get them to take action like he has with me. So we got a lot of great questions flowing in here from the audience. Let me see if I had more questions on my end. Well, let's talk about capital required. So I'm going to go back to your website here. So this is a done for you store. Can you kind of talk about how the profit, how much you need to get started, and then how much the profit share is and how that works?
Yeah, so we do charge a upfront fee, which is, as you can see there, it's we have two different packages, 35,000, 65-35 profit split. 65% is to you, the client, 35% goes back to the team. Or we have a 40K plan, which is 70-30. If a client wants to earn an additional 5% on their monthly net profits. And we don't charge any annual fees, no renewal fees, no monthly fees. The only fee you have is just your profit split. So obviously, the bigger that invoice is for the month, it's a good thing because that means you made that much more money for that month or whatever. So we do bill 1 month. So say the first month of your with us was January, you would receive an invoice here in February for the month of January with your profit split fees, which is a 35% or 30%, whatever plan you're on. And as long as you're making that monthly payment to the team, we'll run your store as long as you want to do so. How much credit do I need? I did cover that earlier, but 10 or 15,000 is the bare minimum I would recommend for the first 3 to 6 months. What kind of profit margins can I expect? Up to 30%, but typically 10 or 30% is the sweet spot. And then how long for my store to go live or selling kind of depends on you too, how quick you can get us all the necessary documents we need from you guys. But like James says, we use Slack for all of our communication. All my managers, myself, are all in the chat room, so we'll tell you exactly what we need from you guys. We make it very simple, but as long as you get that done to us, the sooner that I can pass the store over to my team, the sooner that we can go live for you guys. So yeah, we do want to go live as quick as possible, just so we can knock out the first 2-3 months of seasoning as quick as possible. There's not much action during that time, and it's all for a good reason.
Yep, absolutely. And I'll say again, I dragged my feet a lot during this process, so I think it took mine a little bit longer. But again, it was just on my end. I just wasn't responsive. So if you focus, I think you'll do a lot better. Let's see. Good questions here, guys. And keep all the questions. Please get all of your questions out while Jose is here, because inevitably I'm going to get emails and I will not know the answer. Jose will. Are these the same as your Amazon done for you NFTs? Yes. So we had put together an NFT collection to kind of split. I know that 35K up front can be a lot for people, so we had kind of done that to split it. It is a little complicated with me running multiple stores if I do an NFT collection like that. But let me know if you're wanting me to do another one of those, and we can maybe work something out. But you'll have more success doing it on your own than you will doing it through my NFT collection. So I'll tell you that. And it's kind of a fun experience, honestly. If you've ever wanted to own a business, it's kind of a fun way to own a business without you having to do the work of starting the business and running the business. But you are a business owner. You get an LLC. You get to name it whatever you want. I think mine's called Pelton Place is the name of mine, and it's fulfilling. You can tell people I'm an Amazon store owner. Like that's your job. Let's see. Quarter Mile says, how have some of the other mentioned similar services failed, and how does this service mitigate those weak points? And honestly, and maybe you can talk with how people know this isn't going to happen to you guys, but I had worked with one several years ago where at some point they just disappeared. So the domain went away. I couldn't get a hold of anybody. All the phone numbers were changed, and I was kind of left holding the bag a little bit. What are some things that you've seen where these have failed before, and what have you done to mitigate those?
Yeah, great question. Like you said, most automation companies out there, they're in it for making a quick buck. So what happens is you pay them a upfront fee, 30, 35K, whatever their fee is. Once they get paid, they pass you on to someone from the Philippines or Bangladesh or wherever they're from. And at that point, they just don't care. Or another reason is a couple of years ago when the whole drop shipping thing got pretty bad and millions of people were being suspended, a lot of companies just gave up and quit and said, sorry guys, you guys are out of luck. When time gets tough, you have to learn how to pivot and how to change. With Amazon, you have to be, you got to be doing things the right way, or else just a matter of time before they'll catch you. So having to put in more money into infrastructure. And one of the main things is if you guys go with someone else or not myself, just make sure that they have their own warehouse and it's something that you can physically see or even visit if you wanted to, because the warehouse has been the number one reason why a lot of our stores are doing amazing is because we handle all the logistics now. We control the returns. We control the reshipments. We control the two-step process. We control FBA. So being able to have most of the things in-house into your company is just the quality service is just that much better, which correlates to our clients having a better experience with our services so far. At the end of the day, this works. The numbers don't lie, but I tell people, look, just trust and patience. Trust the process and patience is the two biggest things. As it takes a little bit of time to get there, but once you're scaling, once you're selling, as you guys can see, the numbers kind of speak for themselves.
Yep. And I'll say too, some of the other companies I worked with were more faceless. So there wasn't a particular guy you were working with. It was just a company. So it was really easy for them to just kind of pick up and leave. But Jose's really putting his name out there and his reputation. I mean, if he takes off, he's not going to be able to do business online anymore after that. People start leaving negative reviews. You get a few negative reviews in something like this, and you're pretty much done. You have to go change your name or something like that for it to keep working. So, but great question. Let's see. What is the best way to build credit for this kind of business? So if you're lower, maybe you're at 5K. I don't. Do you have any suggestions, Jose, on ways to kind of build up to get to that 10K?
Yeah, I'm not a credit expert, but typically someone that has not the best credit available or whatever, I typically recommend getting your credit fixed. There's tons of companies out there that can help you. Even some of my clients are actually some of the business they own are credit repair services companies, and you can pay them a couple $100 and they can pretty much, for the most part, legally try to work with wipe out most of the negative remarks on your credit, which, if you can boost your credit score 100, 200 points, that opens up a lot more opportunity with getting more credit. So I typically recommend credit to get a couple Amex cards, stuff like that. 680 to 700 is kind of the sweet spot. If anything above that, it's pretty much guaranteed approval. But yeah, if y'all need any referrals, anything like that in terms of getting your credit fixed, let me know, and I can definitely point you to someone that can definitely help you out.
Okay. Yeah. And if you have this initial capital, but you don't have the credit available, get in touch with me or Jose. We can figure out something for you, I think. So I mean, maybe you take out a little loan from me or something. I don't know. I don't want to complicate my life too much. Maybe I shouldn't open that, but get in touch, Eric. If you have that initial capital there, but this is what's holding you back, get in touch and we'll work something out.
Yeah,
And actually, this is a good question. What if we don't have credit, but we have enough cash on hand? Is that an option too?
that's 100% fine. I actually have a few clients that are very cash heavy. They just don't like credit cards for whatever reason. Again, that's their personal preference. So, yeah, we have some people that just use their debit card. So, again, most debit cards don't offer any type of, I guess, bonus or benefits from using it. But at the end of the day, that's not our call to say. It's up to the client what you want us to use. So, a debit card's perfect. But again, most of the time credit would always be best. But if you have a debit card or a lot of cash, you just want to recycle back in the business, we can definitely make that work. Not a problem at all.
Okay, yeah, and I'll say if you just have even questions, like you wanted to go ahead or you just want some more information, you can book a call. This isn't like an obligation to, okay, now you're going to pay 35K over the phone right now. Book a call. There's a reason that he doesn't use like just an online shopping cart, because this is a significant amount of money that he wants to make sure all your questions are answered. He's not looking to use sneaky sales tactics or anything like that. So if you are thinking about doing this, but you have like a few specific questions that you want to talk through first, go ahead and book a call, and Jose would be more than happy to answer that for you. Is there any monthly maintenance fee?
Great question. Yeah, there's no monthly maintenance fee paid us directly, like the team, like a employee fee, anything like that. No, the only fee that goes directly to us is just your profit split payment. Again, 30 or 35% of whatever your store did for the previous month. There is a couple of smaller miscellaneous software expenses that we need to run your store. So obviously those are part of your expenses. But at the end of the month, my team does track all that, and they will deduct any and all software expenses, uh, any other uh, orders that lost money. We track all that, so we'll deduct all that expenses to your profit, and then once we get the actual true net profit, we'll do the 35% of that, and then that's whatever we'll bill you. So yes, there's smaller ones, but nothing too significant.
Yeah, and I'll echo that they're pretty small. I mean, it's just like might be like $100 a month or something like that for one of the software.
Yeah, and it
Uh,
scales. It scales. With these softwares, a lot of them just the more listings you got to manage. The bigger your store does, the software tier goes a little bit bigger. 200, $300, but most people don't care because they're making 10, 15,000 profit. So
yeah,
it's nothing.
my credit card rewards have been more than the software. So, how much credit room did you make available to get those levels of return? So I think I pretty much had unlimited credit, but because of my disorganization, a few times you guys did hit some limits and my card was declined a few times. And that's when Jose had to get on the phone because I was using the card for different things. Do you know about how much credit that you guys have had to use for those numbers that we saw in the spreadsheets?
Yeah, it's 60 between 60 and 70,000. So it's typically on the higher end of what we're using for our clients are making these type of returns. But yes, the times that my team will need to reach out to you is if your card's being declined by your bank for whatever reason. It happens. They think maybe fraud is going on. So at that point, obviously we cannot call the bank for you because we're not the owner of the card. So those are the times that we will need your help to pretty much get that cleared, because if we cannot fulfill orders, it kind of puts a pause into your store, which delays things. And then the last thing we want to do is we don't want to delay things as much as we can, because that will affect your metrics. And Amazon is very they hold sellers to high standards. So you got to make sure you're meeting your metrics, or else they can suspend you or limit a couple of things. So we don't want to go down that path if we don't have to.
Yep, absolutely. I will say too, from my experience with credit card companies, if you have, let's say you have a 10K credit limit and you fill it up and pay it, fill it up and pay it, and you're able to show, hey, I have more revenue from what I'm doing with this card. Credit card company, they want you to use as much credit as you can. So you ask for an increase, they're pretty generous with those usually, especially if you can show why you need it and things like that. But you can go up, you start at 10K, then you request an increase, and they say, okay, 15K. And then you fill that up, pay it, okay, 20K. And I've had pretty good experience, increasing my credit limit over time on different cards. So I will say that as well. Let's see. Have you ever had a store loss in the long run, and what lessons did you learn from that? Great question.
Yeah, great question, Eric. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie that no one has issues. We all do. Every business is different. But we've had, I think, one or two where the store was just suspended and we were not able to get it back for whatever reason. And those suspensions didn't come from my team did. It was actually competitors that were selling the same items as we were, and they were purposely buying items from our store to leave you negative feedbacks and leave you, bad reviews, and that's what got the store shut down. Sometimes those things can happen. It's very rare, but at the end of the day, if something like that were to happen, where your store is just lost for whatever reason, whether it's your fault, our fault, no one's fault, at that point, we're not like, okay, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. It doesn't work that way. So if store's ever lost, we will basically work with you on getting you a new store created, get it approved, and then we'll start working that store like nothing ever happened. You're not having to pay another fee. You're not having to cover there's no fees associated with that. We basically just replace your old store with your new store. And again, we start running that for you. So with us, you'll never really lose your investment unless you just give up or quit. Because as long as my team has a store that we can manage, good things will happen.
Okay, awesome. Here's a question from Corn Dog. Why don't you just sell this stuff? Why do you need other customers? Why do you use us as middlemen?
Great question. I get this question a lot on calls, and it's 100% normal. The reason why is it comes down to capital. Me personally, I have a couple of stores that I ran for me personally. We get to keep in mind, each store needs about 70 to 80K in working credit. So if I have 4 stores that are being ran, that have been running for a couple of years now, it will take 300, 400K in credit to work with. So you're going to limit yourself on how much I can make. So instead of like me just running 5 stores myself and kind of capping myself out, I figured, why don't I just offer this as service? I can help other people, and I can take a small percentage of the revenue from their store and keep this going. So that's the main thing. And I like to say, like, just like with the like McDonald's or any other franchises out there, why don't they just run every restaurant themselves? It comes down to capital and spending. That's really what it is. So yeah, great question. Like I said, we have over 250 plus clients. So you can imagine, the amount of, I would say, 30, 40, $50 million I would need just in a line of credit to run that. And it would just get too complicated. And something to kind of feed off that too, previously Amazon only allowed you to have one store per household, whatever, but they changed that recently. So now you can have multiple stores under different LLCs. So I do have quite a few clients that do have multiple stores to be able to have, not putting all the eggs in one basket, can have multiple streams of income coming from, one marketplace or whatever.
Is that a pretty recent change? Because that's been a lot of our trouble with the NFTs is we have to get a different address and things like that. Is that a pretty recent change?
I would say probably like a year and a half ago. It's Amazon. Just every time you create a new store, it has to be under a different address, different LLC, a different card on file. So as long as all that's different, they don't really care. But the reason why it's such a big deal, because I'm sure people in the past were doing it the wrong way. They were purposely using their own accounts to own a listing and then competing with each other to try the price up and all that. So there's always a reason why they have these rules in place, right? Because people doing the bad things ruin it for everyone else. But yeah, if you ever need help with that, I can help. But again, it's very simple. As long as everything's different from your other existing stores, you shouldn't have an issue at all.
Okay, very good. Next question. Is this opportunity also for me because I live in Europe? Is this a U.S. only thing, or can international people get in as well?
Great question. Yeah, I actually had someone from Switzerland sign up about 9 months ago, and he actually has two stores with me. So with Amazon, with selling in the USA marketplace, it doesn't matter where you're from. Amazon allows you to be anywhere in the world, as long as you have a credit card that works here in the US. That's all that matters, because at the end of the day, all of our suppliers, distributors, they're all domestic. So as long as we can spend that card here, that's the biggest thing. So if you can confirm that your card works, yeah, we'd love to have you from Europe or wherever you're from. We have about 5 people from Canada, one from Switzerland, and then the rest are all from the US. So
Okay, very good. Let's see. Next question. Is there a way to provide credit to someone's existing store? Do you have any existing clients that need more credit? That's an interesting idea there.
um, yeah, that's a great question. I never been asked that, so that's something that, yeah, I don't know how that would work. It just, yeah, sometimes it may get a little tricky just because the credit's under your name, your social, and something happens. Now you're responsible for it or whatever. But no, as of right now, no. Every client is just focused on their own store. Um, but if that's something that gets asked more, I can always, tell my existing clients, hey, if y'all ever need more funding, more credit, I have people that have it. And y'all can work out a profit split or percentage of the company, whatever. So that's a great question. But as of right now, no.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes it's just a logistics issue of, getting the agreements in place and all that. Like, how do you make there be an agreement if someone else is using your credit? Things like that. But yeah, if a lot of people are asking about it, it is something that perhaps Jose's a business guy. Okay. So if there's demand for something and there's a way to make it work, he'll make it work. So if you have ideas, again, I would recommend book a call. And don't I'm going to say this for Jose's sake. Don't just, if you're just a tire kicker who's like, I just want to talk to Jose a little bit, get his thoughts on my business. I mean, maybe you're okay with that, Jose, but serious inquiries I would recommend for Jose's sake there.
Yeah, like I said, what James said, like I said, if it's something that you're interested in, you have the money or you have good credit, you can qualify for funding, then yeah, feel free to book the call. But if you're just, a tire kicker or something like that, I would probably not recommend it, just because it's just going to waste your time and my time. But yeah, for the most part, I love talking to, my current or potential clients. And something I didn't mention earlier, James, is we do work with a third party company that offers funding. At very, very low rates. So if you're someone that has decent credit and can prove that you make a decent income from your job or whatever, it's not much. It's like 35K a year, which is, most people can meet that pretty easily. Just let me know and I can always connect you with them. And typically they approve people pretty quickly within a couple business days. So in terms of like rates and all that fun stuff, I typically let them handle it because that's what they're good at. But that's always another option for people that may not have liquid cash to start up front.
Okay. So that they offer financing on this upfront fee is what you're saying?
Yeah. Or they may offer, like, let's just say you apply for 60K. They can offer you qualify for that amount. Then boom, you have 35K for the initial fee. Now you have 25K in working credit or working cash that you can deploy on your store. And then as you're making money, you can just basically pay down that loan. And it's another way to basically start a business without having to fork out any of your personal funds into it. So just another option that I like to give out. And then lastly, people that have 700 credit scores or higher, I would recommend. There's a lot of banks that offer 0% interest credit cards on purchases for 18 months, 24 months. That's another great option that I would explore, just because you can pay with the service with a credit card. We definitely don't mind that. But if it's another way for you to, again, start a business with 0% rate and also out of pocket, then it's just a win-win. So there's a lot of options for people that want it. Just let us know. We can always try to point you to the right direction.
Have you ever heard of a bank offering a small business loan for something like this? Or is that something that they would just say, nah, that's out of our wheelhouse?
Not personally, but I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, I just typically, when it comes to loans, I've had people that they want to pay me with a credit card that had like a 20% plus interest rate. I'm like, I don't recommend it for you. Yeah, I can take your money and we can run a store, but it's going to put a lot of stress for not only my team to perform, but also you, because you can have a high, credit card payment. So I typically only recommend people that, if you can secure a loan at a very low rate or qualify for a 0% intro credit card, then do it. But anything like that, I don't want to put you guys in a bad situation too.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so calls to action. Let me know if there's any more questions as I'm kind of going through calls to action here. But first off, if you have this 35K or 40K available, you have 10 or 15K in credit, and you're like, hey, I want to do this. I am ready to go. Come to this website. I'll leave a link again and book a call. It's motiveautomation.com. The link is in the description. I'll pin it as a comment too as soon as we're done here. If you have good credit, so you say, I don't have 35K, I don't have 40K, but I have a pretty good credit score, I think I could secure a loan, also come and book a call and might be able to get you financing to get the 35 or 40K to get this set up. The last option, and this is not a for sure thing, but I just want to get interest. I actually multitasked while we were talking, and I put together just this. If you want to join a waitlist for another Amazon done for you NFT, basically what we would do is we would sell 80 $500 NFTs, and then we'd kind of put them all together as one store. If there's enough interest in that, but again, we need like 80 people that are interested in that, and you would be better off doing it on your own than doing this. But I want to just see if there's interest. You can I'll leave this link, and you can just put your name and email there, and I'll just see who's interested in that. Also, our previous NFT, I'm coming on for an update on NFTs or another day. Yeah, Justin, do you want to hop on here? Let me get Justin the link here. Justin, if you want to hop on and just kind of give, oh, you did Discord me asking for that link, and I just ignored you. Sorry about that, Justin. Justin is running our previous NFT. And we had a little bit of a slow start getting stuff set up. Again, some of it was my fault. That's why if we do another NFT, I cannot be the one to manage it because I'm just slow. It's just going to take a lot longer if I do it. But yeah, Justin, if you want to hop on, there he is. Look at that, man. That haircut is sharp, Justin. That looks good.
Give me a second. Thank you. Sorry, I just had to mute the other feed that I was on.
Nope, you're good.
Nice to meet you, finally, Justin.
Yes, hi, Jose. I know we've talked on the chat quite a bit and stuff, and I like James said, it was a little bit of a slower start than we would have liked probably from it. A little bit, yet maybe on James's side. Also on my side, we were setting up companies. I hadn't done this kind of thing before. I've set up companies and done all that, but yeah, we're running now. I just requested the first payout because I had issues with the bank account stuff not matching up too. So we've requested payouts, I think 3 times now. They finally gave me a reason why. So I've got the proper bank information in there now because Amazon doesn't make it easy. And so we've got our first payout hopefully coming. So I'll have details of that. I did notice you had a spreadsheet on there. So Jose, I did request maybe access to that because I don't think we have one for this NFT store, or at least I didn't notice there was one.
There is one, just got to share with you. So that's not a problem at all.
Yeah, perfect. So stuff like that'll be our biggest thing is now that we've got this going, it hopefully will be a nice snowball for us because I haven't seen the store performance get a lot better over the last little bit. And it's hopefully going to snowball us into some pretty good profits with this NFT run that we have. So, but I think so we have to work it out. But I mean, there's a good like 5+ K that's coming out of the store. And I think there's going to be quite a bit more coming as we kind of snowball this, is from what I can see anyways. Anything else around that, Jose, or I guess any other things with that one? I know, like I said, it was mostly I think on James and my part, but now that we're going, we should be going.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of hiccups, when there's too many people involved, it kind of makes things a little difficult, but you've been great with responding and all that, so it definitely helps my team out whenever there's an issue. But yeah, once you can get that banking situation figured out, which I think you did, it should be fine, because once it's set, it's like set and forget it. Every 2 weeks they'll automatically pay you guys, or if you wanted to, if there's ever money that's available to withdraw today, whatever, you can always request it earlier. But again, however you handle that, that's really up to you. Again, that's kind of your call.
Yeah. Okay. And then other than that, we just have to pay off credit cards, I guess, once we get it, and then whatever's left, we can start actually doing airdrops to the NFTs. So that should start in the next couple of weeks, I guess. Hey, James.
Yes, I think that sounds great. And again, if we do another one, I'll probably have someone else manage it other than me. If I'm involved, it will be much slower than if I'm not involved. So whether we get Tycho going on it or something. We'll figure something out if there's enough interest. But again, I would recommend doing it yourself is going to be more profitable. Because again, me and Justin have expenses that we're going to be taking out from the NFTs and things like that as well. So you'll make more money and you'll have more control over things doing it yourself. Yeah. But I understand 35K is a lot of money for some people. So if you don't, feel free to sign up for this. I'd be very interested in the NFTs. Yeah. So just let me know. We're open to whatever. We're all business people just trying to help make money ourselves, help you guys make money. So just let us know what we can do. So awesome. Anything else from you, Jose? Anything else from you, Justin? Anything else from you, audience? Or we all good?
All good on my side.
Awesome.
Yeah. I have nothing else. Like I said, thank you for having me again, James. Love these calls. And any questions you guys have, I'm sure you guys will have questions, anything like that, feel free to book a call. We can hop on a call and see what are your best options, whether it's paying directly, funding, 0%. We have options out there for you guys. So just know that.
Yep, absolutely. And Jose, I'll try to have you on more often too, just to kind of do updates and just remind people. I think there's some people sometimes who are interested and they're like, well, let me give it 3 months and kind of, toss it around and talk with my wife and things like that. And so then if I had you on, I think it's been about a year since the first time I had you on.
Yeah, February, March was last year that we did a call, which is pretty great. But yeah, like I said, some people I've had they take action right away. I've had some people wait a year or two from our call to take action. Everyone's different. So just whenever you're ready, we're ready. Like I said, it's not a sales call. It's just more to see what's the best option for both of us. If you want to join the team, love to have you on. If not, no worries at all.
Yep, absolutely. So, and a lot of times the calls too are to disqualify people, to kind of figure out, oh, no, you're not going to be a good fit for what we're trying to. They're not trying to sell every single person. Again, if they were, I'm a marketer. If you're trying to sell every single person, you don't book a call. You have a shopping cart here and say, hey, wire me 35K right now, things like that. So Jose's a good guy. He'll take care of you. So awesome. Well, we will wrap up there. Audience, you guys are amazing. This has been a really good call. Great questions. You guys had a lot of stuff. I had my own questions, but you guys had better questions. So thank you guys for asking that. Justin, thank you for all you do in my community. Thanks for keeping the NFT organized. And Justin has very much learned how to work with me, which is just continue to ping him. Actually, Jose's learned this too. Keep pinging him, and eventually he'll do what is asked of him. So
you are good for that. Yeah, we're getting there.
That's what I do. So, and Jose, thank you for just building something to help other people. It's been good for me. It's been good for my community. So appreciate that. And we'll see you. We'll have you on more often. So thanks for hopping on.
All right. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Awesome, everyone. We will talk to you later. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day.